Hello team, welcome back. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about the persistent data problem. Today we will see how we can resolve the persistent data problem with the help of the volumes. So let's start with. So first, we'll try to understand the volumes and the use of the volumes. So volumes inside the containers or the Docker is basically part of the file system where Docker will store the data and that location will be managed by the Docker itself. A non-Docker service or non-containerized service will not manage or modify the volume parts inside the containers, right? So volumes are basically stored in a part of the host file system. So in layman terms, we can say the volumes is a directory or the part of the host file system where container will persist the data, right? Volumes are basically created and managed by the containers only, right? As we have already discussed, a non-container service will not manage and create the volumes. If user need, then user can also create the volumes with the help of the volume command. So in the same lecture, we will see how we can create the volumes if this is required, right? And when we create the volume, it is stored within the directory on the Docker host machine. So the volume is basically a directory, or you can say the file system, which will reside on your host machine. And whenever you will creating the volumes with the help of the volume command as well, that particular volume will be created on the host machine where the container is running. And as we have already discussed, that volume is the solution of the persistent data problem. So whenever you will destroy your container, volume will not be removed, right? So let's see how we can create the volume, how we can identify the volumes, and what is the use of the volumes as well, right? For this, first we will start with the container MySQL container, right? So first we'll pull the MySQL image, but before pulling the image, we will go to the hub.docker.com and go through the Docker file of the MySQL, right? So first we will go to the hub.docker.com. Then we will click on sign in button and sign in on our account, right? Once you will be in, click on the search and search for the MySQL, right? So you can see we have a lot of MySQL images and this is the official one, right? Which have 10 million plus downloads. So I will click on the official image and over here we have different versions available. So we will click on the 8.0 Docker file version, right? And over here we can see we must have some kind of command like volume, right? Because this is the database and there should be some kind of command where we are persisting the data, right? And you can see we have the volume commands over here, right? So inside the Docker file of MySQL, it is defining the volume and volume is being defined inside the where live MySQL. This is the location, this is the physical location on your machine where this particular container will execute, right? So first we will pull the MySQL image, right? For this we will open the terminal and over here we will execute a command docker pull MySQL, right? So this will pull the latest image of the MySQL. So you can see it is basically downloading the MySQL image. So we have to wait until the complete image will be downloaded and MySQL latest image is being downloaded, right? Now suppose we want to inspect the MySQL image. So we will execute a command docker inspect MySQL. Hit enter. Then you can see over here we must have some kind of command like volumes, right? You can see the volumes is being present over here, which is defining the location where live MySQL. So basically when you will start your MySQL container, it will create the data volumes or the persistent data at this particular location on your machine, right? So first, let's start the MySQL container, right? So to start the MySQL container, we need to execute the command docker run -d in the detach mode hyphen name. Suppose I will name my container MySQL db. Then we need to pass the image name, which is MySQL. But we know very well that to start the MySQL, we need to pass the environment variable, right? And how we can pass the environment variable inside the containers with the help of the -e, right? And what should be the environment variable? Environment variable would be MySQL allow empty password equals to true, right? Hit enter, and you can see the container is being started with this particular ID, right? If I will execute docker ps, then you can see a container named mysql db is running. If I will inspect docker inspect mysql db, then you can see it is specifying the complete details of your mysql container, which have the volumes where live mysql, and there should be some kind of another tag called mounts, you can see over here, right? And mounts has the destination where live mysql, but which have the source where live docker volumes, then some random id, then underscore data, right? So by default, this container mysql db container is writing the data at this particular location. If you want, then you can go to this particular location like cd and paste it, hit enter, right? Put ls, and you can see underscore data is here. If I will go to this particular location underscore data, again put ls, then you can see over here we have some kind of files. So it means by default mysql is running the data at this particular location, which is where live docker volumes at, and this particular random generated id and then particular data, right? I will go to the root, right? Again execute docker ps, right? So we can see the mysql db is running. Now if you want to identify that how many volumes are being created, then you can execute the command docker volume ls, and you can see a single volume with this particular random id is being created, and this is the same id, right? In the same way, if I will again create another mysql container and name it mysql db2, right? So I will execute the same command again, and I will name it mysql db2, hit enter. Now you can see a new container is being started. If I will execute a command docker ps, then you can see two containers are running. First is mysql db and second is mysql db2. If I will execute a command docker volume ls, then you can see there are two volumes listed, right? It means the first volume is related to first container and second volume is related to second container, but these are the randomly generated ids. So at runtime it would be difficult to identify that which volume is related to which container, right? Now suppose I'm going to stop my containers, so docker container stop mysql db mysql db2, hit enter. Then we have to wait until the both containers got stopped. I will execute a command docker ps, then you can see nothing is running. But if I will execute a command docker volume ls, then you can see that both volumes are still exist. It means the containers are being destroyed, they are being stopped, but the volume is still present. It means the persistent data volume issue is resolved, right? Although my containers is being stopped, but my data is basically present, right? The data which is being generated with that particular container is not being destroyed. So this is the way how you can resolve the persistent data problem, right? Now now suppose you want to inspect any volume, you want to inspect this particular volume, so you can execute a command docker volume inspect and then define the id, right? So suppose I will copy this and paste it, hit enter. So by this way you can inspect this particular volume as well, that this is being created at this particular time, created by the driver local, labels are null, mount point is this, and name is this, right? So we can inspect the volume as well. Now suppose we have a new requirement where we need to create the custom volume and we need to start the MySQL with that particular volume. So how we can do that? For this we will enter the same command, and inside this command before the image name I will define hyphen hyphen mount, then source equals, and over here I need to define my volume name. Suppose I'm defining MySQL hyphen DB, then put comma, then put destination equals, and define the destination where the volume will be created. So my volume will be created inside the where lib MySQL, right? Hit enter button. I'm getting the error because there was already a running container with the MySQL DB2. So I will rename my container and I will rename it MySQL DB3, right? Hit enter. Then you can see a container is being started. If I will execute a command docker volume ls, then you can see a new volume is being created with the custom name, which is MySQL DB, which I just defined over here, right? So with the previous approach, we have the issue that we was not able to identify that which volume name was related to which container, right? But with the help of the custom volume name, we would be able to identify that which volume is related to which container, right? If you will stop this container, docker container stop MySQL DB3, then you can again start the same container with the same persistent volume, right? I will execute the docker volume ls. Then you can see the volume is still persist. It means we can start a new container with that particular volume. It means if a container is running that has inserted some data inside your volumes, and somehow you have to stop that container, and again you need to start a new container with the upgraded version, then you can start the new container with the upgraded version with the existing database, right? So with the help of the volumes, we can define the volume where the persistent data will be defined, and we can start a new container with the existing data volumes, right? If you want, I can show you that. I will start a new container named MySQL DB4, right? And that container will be start with the MySQL DB volume. See, the container is being started. Execute docker volume ls. So although I have started a new container, but the volume is still same. A new volume is not being created, right? So I have started a new container with the existing data volume. So this is the benefit of the volumes, right? This is the benefit of the volumes, that we can start an existing container or we can start a new container with the existing volume as well, right? So this is all about the volumes. If you have any doubt, any question regarding the volumes and how we can create the volumes, how we can identify the volumes, then you can put your question inside the question and answer forum. So thank you, team. Thanks for your time.